Can you believe it? We just had the first Raw that was only 2 hours in 12 years, and we started with Sami Zayn signing autographs and a bunch of people arriving at the building. And if you can believe it, some fans are like, oh, we need that third hour back. Or maybe we can save some time by not seeing every employee come to the building. Also, hello, my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need. That's right, nobody else knows what they're talking about. Only I know what I'm talking about, because I have studied wrestling for the last 422 years. So now we're going to take the finger of power and support the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up, because it's running wild right now. We're going to give you the good bits and up, and we're going to give the bad bits a down. So Sexy Red was in the ring to start Raw. I think somebody in the back was like, wait a minute, nobody told Sexy Red to go out there, because before she even finished talking, the Bad Blood recap video played. Now this was funny too, because the Hell in the Cell was treated like it was the main event, and it was not, which did cause a big debate. And when this was done, who came out? Not to the ring, and only to the stage because he was so beaten up? It was CM Punk. The best thing about this is, of course, on the night of Bad Blood, we had to get across that the Hell in the Cell is now one of the most horrible things any wrestler can do. But do you know what is just as important? The aftermath. And we didn't see Drew McIntyre on this Raw at all. And CM Punk was basically like, I'm just so happy to be alive. And it was all woozy-goozy. So now we can put it in our brains. You do not want to get in this thing. So Punk totally understood the assignment, and he was all like tied up in tape here when he said, I just wanted to see your fans. Because again, he's just happy he isn't dead. He also dropped the big line, which made me very happy in my Tootsie Toes because we needed it, as he said, yes, sure, I was the winner, but did I actually win? Because look at me, I will never be the same again. So it's a massive round of applause for these guys. CM even kind of hinted that he's going to have to retire, he's so busted up, but of course that was just for the story when he thanked 3 groups of people. 1, the fans. 2, the people both behind and in front of the camera. And 3, those who keep on hating him, because he just uses that for motivation. For now, Punk is going to go home, though, because he hasn't seen his wife in weeks. Genuinely, I don't think he's going to be back before the Survivor Series, and that's good. I mean, we've just talked about it. Your actions must have consequences. So this was exactly what we needed. It was basically a big PA. Do not go into the Hell in a Cell. It was like a drug commercial from the 90s. Oh man, are you thinking about doing pot? Well, made me think again, because look what could happen. We also got one final tease, as just as CM Punk was going to leave, he got interrupted by Seth Rollins, and they looked at each other so that you know it's super duper serious. Probably our WrestleMania match. This was also well pitched though, because of course if Punk hadn't have done that, we would have taken all of our hard work and thrown it out the window. So I'm absolutely giving it an up. We shall see CM Punk soon. It also meant we had back-to-back promos, which was interesting, but I guess both went by quite quickly. Because Seth Rollins then got in the ring, and he was like, hey Punk, can't wait till you do come back, so I can retire you for good. It's really mean. Seth also can't believe all the crazy stuff that's been going on since he has been away. I mean, The Rock returned, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are teaming up, and Repo Man made his big return. I was like, well, that part isn't true. I made that up. And isn't it dumb? Here we are in October 2024, and nobody is even talking about Repo Man. Apart from me. He then turned his attention to Bronson Reed, which made sense. Of course, Big Bron was the guy that took him out. When he did this, I'm going to destroy you, Bronson Reed. And the way I'm going to get that message across is I'm going to get really close to the camera. He also mentioned all the tsunamis that Reed had given him and said you can have a match at any point at any time, when he got interrupted by Jey Uso. So if I was in charge of WWE, I would find Seth Rollins and I would find Jey Uso, because I'd be like, listen, wrestling rule 14.8, you're only allowed to come out when somebody says your name, and nobody even breathed it. It also kind of felt like maybe we were teasing something, because these two weren't pleased either. So yeah, it was another decent promo. It is setting up future matches. See what we can do in 120 minutes. It also ties into what came next, because it was Jey Uso versus Xavier Woods for the Intercontinental title. And yeah, it didn't go as long as it usually would have done, but I thought this was totally fine, because it was all about the story and it was all about the angle. I mean, the match would have been good either way, but it was tying into the aftermath. I mean, that's where the secret sauce is. Woods was all fired up as well as he took the fight to Jey, because of course he wanted to become the Intercontinental Champion. At one point, they spilled to the outside when Xavier grabbed him, basically gave him an AA onto the floor. I was like, well, I guess if you want a belt, that's what you should do. The sad point is, though, is that when he got back into the squared circle, he went for a springboard. He got super kicked right in the face when Jey was like, I think I've done it. He hit the Uso splash. 1, 2, 3. This probably went about 7 minutes. Once again, though, it's everything else we need to talk about because Xavier Woods was so mad after this, even more so when Kofi Kingston came to the ring and was like, buddy, old pal, you did good, we'll get him next time. And he shaked Jey Uso's hand. And Woods wanted nothing to do with that. He left the ring, and the whole time he was saying to Kofi, "Why did you do that? You are meant to be my friend." So we are continuing to tease the breakup of the New Day, which is going to wreck me emotionally. And just when you thought we were done, Braun Breaker teleported in from the Starship Enterprise, and he speared Jey Uso out of his boots. And I really like this, because he ain't a good guy and he ain't a bad guy. He did show respect to Jey last week, but now he's all pissed off again and everybody dies. Because Kofi had been nice to Jey, he tried to help, but he got wrecked with a spear too. And even though Xavier Woods wanted nothing to do with this, Breaker got out the ring, and he did his "I'm going to run around the apron and spear you too," and Xavier got it as well, so now he can be doubly pissed. So you can kind of blame this all on Kofi Kingston, and then Jey Uso got it again. So I guess at the next pay-per-view premium live event, we are going to run Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker back. And who the flub knows what's going to happen there. So I thought this was very effective, and once again, it's just setting everything up for down the line, which is the point of a week-to-week show. Getting it up. We then had a quick video with Rhea Ripley, and she was like, "Of course, Liv Morgan, you went out and got the help of Raquel Rodriguez. Because we all know deep down in your tum-tum, you can't beat me." That is fine though, because it just means it's another body to go through, which she will do. And I hope when we do get here, we talk about the past between all of these three. I mean, you could swim in it. I don't know what that means. We then got that logo tease we've had for the past couple of weeks, and as a small spoiler, I can tell you, it is for the Viking Raiders who have gone back to the War Raiders, which is a tremendous change. When Jackie Redmond tried to talk to Braun Breaker, and he just walked on by her. So we all know this. That dude hasn't got any manners. Raw also teased everything that had happened between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, and if you hadn't seen that after Bad Blood on social media, Kevin Owens did turn heel. But because Triple H had tweeted out, "Oh, we're dealing with it internally," the announcers weren't allowed to speak about it, which I actually really enjoyed. Because Wade Barrett was desperate to, and Joe Tessitore was like, "You know the deal, shut your pie hole." Also, as we have brought up Joey, he is doing a damn good job as a commentator. We then saw Cody Rhodes backstage, and there was some kind of tech issue, and I was like, oh my gosh, the Wyatts are going after him. When actually, very handedly, we cut to The Miz and Karrion Kross. Actually, the Wyatts are going after them. Because yes, we got that big glitch thing, and this does make all the sense in the world, because Miz screwed over R-Truth, and as Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy have told us, if you do not respect your family, they will break you. Truth then walked in, as always, he's the best. He was like, "Oh, Miz, you silly goose, you accidentally hit me last week, but I forgive you." And Miz was like, "It wasn't an accident, you buffoon. I don't like you anymore." Truth didn't understand. He was like, "Listen, I've left the Judgment Day. Why can't you get that through your head?" When the Miz basically challenged him to a match next week. Here they were also talking about the fact their kids hang out. It's going to be an awkward play date. They're going to be running around, and Miz is going to be looking at Truth, and Truth is going to be looking at the Miz. I think this is going to end well. Karrion Kross also thought this was the funniest thing ever. Listen, I'm totally fine with them having a fight. And as I'm sure you can imagine, it was time for a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. What else? It was also Pete Dunne versus Sheamus, and of course we had shillelaghs and cricket bats at ringside, because that is how Americans see people from England and Ireland. We play cricket and we use shillelaghs. I actually don't know what a shillelagh is. Sheamus still used Al in the announce table, even though he had all these toys, as he just chucked Pete Dunne into it. But that ain't the thing we've got to talk about, because we had these kegs, and Sheamus decided, well, why don't I climb up these damn things and do a white noise from the top through a table. And he did that to the former Butch, and look, I tell you, if you told me Pete Dunne was dead, I would have believed it. Sheamus then also got a bomb of power back in the ring for a 1-2-ooh, when Pete was like, "Flub this," and he snapped his fingers. He likes doing that. He then hit him with the cricket bat, which is just an unhinged thing to do, when I swear he got like a draw. He just whammed Sheamus, and you have to see this picture, hopefully it's on the screen right now, of Sheamus's back. I mean, I think the Sword of Omen's in there, because it's so damn red. This was a really brutal fight. Peter then decided, well, Sheamus, I hate you so much, I'm going to tie your hands behind your back, when he just kneed him right in the skull. If there wasn't a good old-fashioned Donnybrook, I would actually call that a crime. It also led to a great near fall when I actually thought that Dunne was going to win, but Sheamus was like, screw that. He took his Phoenix down, and even though he had no hands, he hit the big knee, and he hit the bro kick, because of course that uses his legs 1, 2, 3. So that just made him not the coolest man ever, and I suppose you can say Pete Dunne should have won here, but I don't care about things like that. When I am entertained, that's all political nonsense that we can argue about on the internet, but when I'm sat there with my tush in a chair, I just want to have a good time. It was right back to Cody Rhodes after this. He's just a really sad man. This is of course because of what happened with Kevin Owens, but he said, listen, I shall address that on SmackDown, because the only reason I am on Raw is to look at Gunther in the face, because we are going to be fighting at Crown Jewel. Now he also mentioned that he wants to be the Crown Jewel champion. I'm just going to tell you, I think it's really lame. We've talked about this on Bad Blood Ups and Downs, and I'll talk about it at the end of the show. I'm going to make you wait like an a-hole. But nobody wants to be the Crown Jewel champion, especially with this belt. It's like I've gone to visit my nan, and she's like, oh, Simon, look at this wonderful jewelry I bought from Greece. And I look at it like, oh, man, that thing's disgusting. But it's your nan, damn it. You don't want to hurt her feelings, so you're like, it's a great choice. Sami Zayn then appeared to make his day worse, because they're meant to be friends. He was like, don't worry, Codes, I shall beat Gunther, and we're going to fight in Saudi Arabia instead. Zayn also offered to talk about Kevin Owens, but Cody still didn't want that, when Rhodes actually insulted him too, because he was like, listen, I would love for you to be able to beat Gunther, but you are the underdog, and you kind of shocked the world at WrestleMania. I was like, Sam, I don't think he believes in you at all. And then he walked off. We then had a quick interview with Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and his moustache, and Liv Morgan. I think this was recorded earlier on in the day. And Liv was all like, listen, I'm the only champion in WWE that can lose and still win, because of course at Bad Blood, Rhea Ripley technically got the victory via disqualification. And while that line is completely 2 + 2 = potato, also thought it was quite good. Ultimately, we were trying to figure out whether Raquel has joined the Judgment Day, and we never found out, because Don was like, nah, I'm leaving, and he got in the car, and everyone else got in the car, and they drove off. Although I will say this, it was the first time where it kind of felt like maybe, not everything between Dom and Liv is right. Maybe, just maybe, Morgan has been using him this whole time. Ruh-roh. When I suppose we got a sort of debut. Because NXT GM Ava was hanging out with Raw GM Adam Pearce when in walked Ethan Page. Don't forget, until recently, he was the NXT champ. So seriously, what an amazing 2024 he's having. And he was like, oh, Adam, I've come to talk to you because CM Punk screwed me over last week and I would like my revenge. Adam was like, man, talk to her. She's the one who made a special guest referee. And Ava said, I'm off the clock right now, so I guess she only works Tuesdays. Sexy Red then popped in and basically went, Trick Williams kicked your ass. I was like, that was totally unnecessary. Does sort of feel like there is going to be consequences to this, though. There's that word again. And I'll take CM Punk versus Ethan Page. I mean, it's a match I never thought I'd see. When, yes, we did get a casualty of this 2-hour Raw. I mean, let's be honest, all of this stuff wasn't great on the 3-hour version. But here, we somehow condensed it even further. Actually, that's impressive work. And yes, I know I'm boring because I talk about it every week, but I can't just ignore it if it keeps happening, because we did have the Pure Fusion Collective, that name still makes me laugh, it's amazing, and the Unholy Union taking on Natalya, Zelina Vega, Lyra Valkyria, that's not how you say her name, as well as Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Now, I still really don't know what the beef is here, other than the fact they don't like each other. And now, we're just throwing more individuals into it. Now the plan here, of course, was to do all of the dives, because who doesn't like a dive? But when Natalya went to do a dive, Sonya Deville realized, well, wait a minute, I don't like dives, and she threw her into Rhea the ring post. Actually, no, it was Simba the Still Steps. I then laughed out loud, because Zelina did hit a moonsault onto Zoe Stark, who we stand on this channel, but Zoe wasn't the legal person. So it was just a bit like, wop wop. You tried, but ultimately you failed. It carried on because Sonya was able to use this to hit a big old knee, but everyone broke that pin up when very handily she was kind of like hanging over like this. So Lyra jumped off the top rope. She hit her big leg drop, and yeah, she won. She got the 1, 2, 3, and that's great because she needs victories. But outside of that, there is absolutely nothing to talk about. And because we're not getting enough of the narrative, I'm going to say the good guys saw that Sonya Deville had called the group the Pure Fusion Collective. They're like, not on my watch. And look, seriously, the action was really fun here and totally chaotic, so I am going to give it an up. And this isn't their fault, but what does Lyra Valkyria get for winning? I mean, literally nothing. So we just need to separate them and look at the likes of Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan and Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton and build some emotion stories in. That way you don't have to do some random crazy old matchup. You can just have them cut promos or whatever the hell you want to do. So that's getting it down. And listen, it's WWE's fault. They've raised the bar, and now they need to raise this up too. When Raw peaked, because we got the crown jewel poster, so Gunther was there, and Cody Rhodes was there, and Nia Jax was there, and Liv Morgan was there. When the commentators told us, well, let's not forget, we do have a world title match later, so somebody in the production truck must have pushed the Photoshop button, and magically, Gunther's face became Sami Zayn. Honestly, because I'm an idiot, this looked like some crappy sequel to Freaky Friday. So it was utterly ridiculous, and then Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill accepted Damage Control's match to a title match next week. It was a stupid sentence, but I look forward to that. When we got to our main event, I was just dancing, man. It came around so damn fast. I was also playing fantasy booking because I am an idiot, because it was Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the world title. At one point I was like, well, maybe Goldberg comes out and screws over Gunther and Sami Zayn becomes the champ. Now, we were never going to do that, but given everything that happened on Bad Blood, well, it was fun to make a mockery of it all. I still bet he does do that at Crown Jewel, though, and otherwise, we gave all the time to this, which we should have done, because it was a world title match, and Gunther and Sami Zayn, they should be married, man, because my gosh, the chemistry. Now, Sami started off well, but when he went for the crossbody, Gunther booted him right in the face. That's when he started with the chops. And I was getting worried. I was like, damn it, Zayn, you're getting whooped again. I didn't think I died because Sam kept going for the least devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the Blue Thunder Bomb. And Gunther wanted nothing to do with that. He shook it off and he reversed it because he was like, listen, bro, you know it's a waste of all of our times, so let's just move on. Even then, though, when Zayn was able to bust out of a sleeper, he did hit the least devastating move in all of sports entertainment. And did it work? No, of course it doesn't. It never does. Instead, he got a 1-2-ooh when Zayn back body dropped Gunther to the outside, which looked totally crazy when he absolutely spanked him with the haluva kick. And I tell you, we acted like Gunther had been knocked out. Well, I was just screaming, oh my gosh, Sami, you have to get him back in the ring. But Gunther was basically dead weight here, so he wasn't able to do it. Damn. He used Barry Barricade here as well, so he'd gone all out. When he finally got him back in the ring, Gunther was able to kick out the damn thing, even though he got another haluva kick to the back of the head. And man, this is when Gunther started to do his crazy offense with bomb of powers and all sorts. And not only was Sami reversing it into the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, but we were getting kickouts all over the place. And the best one is when Gunther, I think, hit a third bomb of power, and Sami had the fighting spirit and he kicked out at one. I went crazy. This entire arena went crazy, and it actually made you go, oh my gosh, he's going to win, which was totally baloney, but what a ride. Some people actually get mad at that spot as well, but look how well it worked here. Very sadly, Gunther was like, man, I just want to go to sleep. I'm tired. So he then enacted that same kind of revenge on Sami Zayn, and he applied the sleeper. And even then, we all thought he was going to get out of it. He was desperate to get to the ropes when his brain went, wait a minute, I can't breathe. I'm going to die. I don't want to die. And he passed out, and the referee had to stop it. And Gunther is so good at winding up the crowd. Do you know what the reaction was? Utter silence. And it wasn't because people didn't care. It's because they were actually disappointed. That is a round of applause. So this was an absolutely great war, and again, they're both so good at what they do, and they are excellent talents and probably don't get enough love. When, of course, Cody Rhodes came out and he looked at Gunther and Gunther looked at him, and that was that. And this is where I am going to talk about that stupid crown jewel belt again, because I actually get upset about this because I am a massive geek. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther is a match I've wanted for ages, but not like this, man. They have such good history, and we could have talked about all that and all the Royal Rumble stuff. So look, before I get to the negative Nancy stuff, I am giving an up to this match, and you should watch it. It's brilliant. But for the way we're building everything else, well, it's a down. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I just think it's a little bit lame. Otherwise, though, I really enjoyed the fact that Raw was only 2 hours, and it is going to take WWE a while to find their pacing with it. And then look, even if you don't like it, in 2025, of course they're going to go back to 3 hours. Netflix is going to want all the sponsors and all the adverts, so you need a longer running time. But on this night, I'm giving Raw an up. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen for my ups and downs for Bad Blood so you can get even more mad at me. But otherwise, my friends, have a terrific day, and I will see you soon.